In this unit, we are going to take a look at how our dialect develops into a standard language and how our national language develops into a global language. Of course, we are going to discuss all this with reference to English as to how dialect of English used in London became the standard English, and how a language, for example, English, restricted to one or two countries, became a global language. Let's first take a look at what a standard language is. A standard language is a language which has changed from a dialect into a national language. For example, as we just said, English, standard English, from a dialect used in London, it developed into standard English. This standard English is also used as a second language by the speakers of other dialects. For example, in England, we have a large number of people who use other dialects of English and not standard English or the dialect which is used in London, but they use the standard English dialect for various purposes as a second language, for example, in the context of education, different professions, jobs, etc. So, the standard language is also used as a second language by the speakers of other dialects, although they also retain features of their regional dialects. Because a standard language is then used in a newer context, in newer regions, which are also different in terms of culture and other social norms, the standard language, in our case, standard English, then discovers new functions. For example, when this London dialect was accepted as standard English and it began to be used by people from different parts of England, it was used for performing functions which it did not perform when it was restricted only to London. And it also, because it was used for performing different functions and used for different purposes and different professions, it developed new registers, new styles, and new vocabulary, new structure, etc., in its new domains of use. It then is also used, any language which is accepted as a standard language, or any dialect which is accepted as a standard language, then also expands in its meaning. For example, then it has to express concepts, ideas which are not found in the context in which it is originally used. And to express the ideas and concepts in its new context, it increases in the potential it has for expressing different meanings. When we look at a global language, we see that a global language is also a national language which has changed into an international language. It is also used as a second language by users of other languages, while these users also retain some features of their their first languages. So just as English is used as a second language by a great number of people all around the world in different countries, it is called global as its range covers the whole world. It is actually an international language. English is an international language, but we call it global because of the expanse of its use, because it is used all over the world. So its range of use covers the whole world, and that is why we call it a global language. A global language, just like a standard language, also takes on new meanings when it is used in new settings to describe the ideas and concepts which are found or which are unique to those new settings and which were missing from the original context of the global language. So the language then tries to understand those concepts in its new settings using whatever resources in terms of meaning it has available. It does so by using two strategies. One is borrowing to express new concepts, new ideas which are alien to the original context of the language. It borrows vocabulary from other languages and also from the indigenous language of the people who have now started using it as a second language. It also then reconstrues old words. For example, the old words that are already present in the language in English are then given new meanings. They are used to express newer meanings as well. And because of its widespread use in new contexts, a global language then also creates new functions. It is then used in different sociocultural contexts, and then it performs several functions which are not found in the regional context of this global language, for example, English. Suppose we use English, let's say, to talk about the festival of Eid. Eid is a concept which is completely alien to English culture. To discuss Eid or to talk about Eid in English, we'll have to use several strategies to express different concepts which are found in the festival of Eid but are missing from the festivals which are celebrated in native English speaking countries. Therefore, we probably will either borrow, let's say, from Urdu, or will use the existing English words in their new meanings to express the ideas which are found in this festival of Eid. In this way, the English also, or global language also, increases in its meaning potential, which means the vocabulary that it already has, then the same vocabulary is used to express newer meanings. So we see that the process which is used, or the process, the phases in which dialect goes through when it is accepted as a standard language, we see a global language going through almost the same phases for becoming a global language.